Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we're going to talk about Irvine and his vision card that are releasing this Wednesday in War of the Visions. And that's really it. It's a very chill week for the game this week, and me personally, I welcome that. Like, obviously right in the middle of that real life move that's going to take weeks to accomplish one little thing at a time. And I'm sure I'll mention that many more times in the coming videos this week. But the point being, I'm all about having a nice little week off. Still, we are getting the second part of Final Fantasy VIII's, what do I want to say here? The second wave of units and vision cards, which is just Irvine and his. So let's talk about him. Irvine is a confident sniper hunter Viking. His TMR is cloth armor with 8 defense, 4 spirit, and 8 accuracy. Like, honestly, the stats on this thing, not very good. The buff, also not great. It's 30 missile attack in an AoE buff, and it drops aggro by 6. Like, is it usable if you're a brand new player? Yeah, it's usable in that case, and you can boost the stats of any Trust Master through Trust Stones, but overall, I think that's a pretty weak TMR. His Master ability is attack 10%, AP consumption down 15. He gets missile attack resist pin 15 from his Dream ability, AoE resist 15, and an upgrade to one of his abilities. Now, like, overall, again, if I'm judging this Master ability and Dream ability, attack 10% is nice, but that's not a big number. AP consumption down 15, also nice, also not a big number. Missile attack resist pin 15, I mean, could we have gone 25 or 30 or something there? I don't know. 15 AoE resist, that's really nice. And then the upgraded skill, it's good. It's one of his better skills. So let's go take a look at those now. His support abilities. I think you're always going to run top-notch sniper. This is 40 defense penetration, which he's going to need. Increase of range by 1, which I also think he will need, and 12% agility. So a lot packed into the support ability. It is the definite always have on support ability for him. After that, you have some options. Hunter's Eye will give you another range plus 1. That's all it gives, though. Feels a little weak. The additional range would be nice, but just one more kind of sucks. Okay, Delicate Preparation. This is his new second new support ability coming to his kit. Is a one-time 50% damage reduction for self with an increase of attack 24%. I feel like for most people, this could be run a lot. I think this is probably your most commonly run one. That damage reduction will help him survive one hit probably, which as a gunner, you might need to survive that. Otherwise, you get Viking's Knowledge for that same amount of attack, but with 12% HP attached to it. I value this 50% shield more than the 12% HP. Initial AP is very good for PvE teams, and he will be a very, very good PvE chaining unit, so keep that in mind and keep ready for battle kind of, in the forefront of your mind for that. And then with Viking, you do have 25% missile resistance if you want to run that and go like some very, very anti-missile resist build, but that's really specific. Otherwise, I think you just do his new one and his second new one right there, and that'll be your most common thing. Now, he does have a really good counter move. It's a 50% chance to preemptively counter with a nice bit of range, and it's a shooting ability. Now, the problem here is that it is it's a straight line counter shot. You might end up shooting somebody in the back. Like, that's what I worry about with this. When you have these missile counter moves, if he's standing in the back line, there's like a tank or somebody else in between you and the enemy, he might shoot them in the back when he procs his counter attack. And it's only against slash and strike, but the 50% strike the 50% strike trance, now that we're in Final Fantasy IX mode, anyway, the 50% chance is pretty high. It's higher than your like 30s or your 20s from back in the day. So I think you're going to run that one all the time. I'm not going to give that an A though. It's like a B- kind of counter move right there. Okay, his new main job. Let's check out what we're going with here. First of all, he's scaling off attack, dex, and luck. His cheap move, which is 17 AP, is a 2-hit move that can select up to 2 targets. This is good. Like, for a very cheap move, you're dishing out 4 shots right here, right? You pick one target, you pick another, bang, 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 bang. You're getting a lot of use out of a 17 AP cost move right there. So I do like that for a cheap one. He has a self-only buff that's 15% more AoE resist with an increase in range by 1. Again, that's okay, and it might be another way of increasing your range so you can stand back and like rain some damage on the enemy. Quick Shot, which upgrades to Rapid Shot, is his Protect and Shell Remover. Really nice thing to have in your kit. Lots of protect protected shell out there, so he can knock that off. It also does 200% modifier damage. He can use it 3 times. It's a 2-hit chaining attack that restores CT to himself by 200. So a lot to like about that move. Overall, that's a very strong move. Not only does he dispel protected shell, but also boosts his CT, chains with his team, and does a lot of damage. So I like that one. Pursuit Standby, this is his group buff. Lot to like here as well. It's a 40% attack buff, 25% agility buff for allies. That's solid. And then this is what makes him who he is. When he casts this buff, he will do follow-up attacks with, as long as somebody's within 4 spaces of him and range height 1, he will shoot a follow-up attack. Now let's go look at that follow-up attack. It's going to be down here on the bottom. Chase Shot. It's a 50% scaling attack, scales off of his attack, dex, and luck. Just like the rest of his move. Here's the range on it, right? So it's got to be range 4. This is the range he's got to be of his friend who uses the move, right? So he's that close to a friend, he uses it, then he shoots them wherever they are. It's a nice way for him to stand next to like other missile units and really just keep piling on the damage. So that's his bread and butter. Will that be good enough to make him like meta defining or game changing? No, it won't. He reminds me in strength of somebody like maybe a Promptu. Promptu's plenty good. You could definitely use Promptu, especially back in the day when he came out. And I think that will be the case with Irvine as well, where if you're a fan of the unit, you're going to get some use out of them for a while, because like dark is good, missile, I mean, range is never bad. Missile's definitely not what it used to be. It's yeah, but he's not going to be bad. He does have Canister Shot, which is a decreased missile resist by 30% for targets in a small AoE. The range on this is not great, but it can be boosted, up to 2 or 3 times, depending on what support abilities and buffs he has on. Then Armor Shot, which gets the upgrade right here. It's his job level 25 move that is a 20 single target resistance debuff, 165% damage, piercing, and absorb 30% of the damage dealt. So this is pretty cool that it has that single target resistance debuff on it. Tons of people are stacking that. Being able to knock it down by 20 is super useful. This will help not only his damage, but the rest of his team's damage. Is it enough to make him like game defining? No, it's definitely not, but it's still good. Now, I really like that when we get to sub jobs here, I think it's interesting. Confident Sniper, I think, is good. And this might be like secretly kind of one of his better things. He has a 165% modifier move that can sleep and poison enemies. 4 uses, 2 status effects on the move. I kind of like that. Then he has a Flame Shot, which is fire element that will knock healing power down on targets. Now there's a lot of healing in the game, and being able to knock that heal in half is very useful. So I like the Confident Sniper sub job. You still might not be running it all the time. You have a Hunter sub. You're not going to run Hunter for this buff because I think you have a better buff up here. Right? I think you're going to go with his attack agility buff that gives him the follow-up attack. So forget about that. But you have a berserking shot. You have a very high defense penetration, missile attack resist penetration move that could be one of his hardest hitting moves if the enemy has defense penetration and missile resist. Okay, so that's a really good one. You have an accuracy range self buff right here. Okay, maybe good for like a high range build, but then triple arrow, 165% modifier that goes up to 225% if the unit has haste or berserk. It also knocks AP off of them when it crits. It's a 3-hit move, so it's his best like chaining move. I like triple arrow a lot. Viking, I guess you could run Viking if like you were trying to mix in another damage type, but it's definitely not a ranged move. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna run Viking very much unless you want Drain Cyclone or something. Anyway, we already talked about his follow-up skill. Then his limit break is defense penetration 30 for 3 turns. Line-based AoE, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can go up to like, 8 or something like that. 3-hit move, 200% damage modifier with that defense penetration on it. So that's his kit. He's a gunner, right? This dude's here to like shoot some people, do some damage. I think he will do those things fine. If you're building up a dark team right now and you kind of like want another DPS on there and you're a fan of Final Fantasy VIII, I think that's really your target audience right here. It's FF8 fans with Irvine. Okay. He does come out with Sniper's Loneliness of Vision card. So stat line on this card, AP 16, 138 attack, 40 dex with 312 HP. Solid stat line. Unit effect is missile attack resist pin 10 and single target resistance 10. Whoa, my voice went away for a second. It just like disappeared. Anyway, missile attack resist penetration 10 is nice. Single target resist 10 is nice. I like the single target resist more. I don't know what it's like. Again, it just feels like these numbers, kind of a theme of Irvine to me. If I go back to his master abilities here, it's like I just feel like these numbers could be a little bit bigger, like 10 could be a little more, and you'd get away with it. He'd still be very 90 cost with 20 or 30 right there, in my opinion. He does have 15 AoE resist, and if you run this card on him, it also has 10 single target resist. So he's definitely not supposed to just insta-die. Okay. Party effect on this. It's for you can see right here, it's for piercing units, missile units, arrow units, and knife units. It has acquired AP 60, critical rate 20, and attack up 50%. I actually really like the effects on this. And if we go back into the game, you'll see we do have the global buff of missile attack up, critical damage up for Irvine if he's wearing it himself. That does make it, that does make it a little bit better for him. It's a nice buff. Again, it will help him do a lot of damage. If we go to the unit list right here and say you were trying to run Irvine in some kind of like mono dark team while taking advantage of this vision card, here's the other units you can use it with. Promptu, which, I mean, that would be cool if Promptu could get some love and get stronger. Same with Kane, if he could get some love and get stronger. Little Leo the Bold is fine right now, but really it's kind of, this is not exactly a who's who of dark, if I'm being real. Not exactly a who's who of dark right there. So let's take dark off. Melnia, yeah, that's a great one, right? If you're going like missile team. Irvine, Melnia, and then look for somebody else, like maybe get in there, tank a little bit for you, close the gap, do some damage, maybe mix in like, you know, another one of these people. I don't know. The vision card unit abilities, like the units that can take advantage of that vision card don't feel the best to me. And I don't know Melnia yet, right? We have not got our hands on Melnia, who came out before Irvine in JP. So overall, I think this is a week where if you're a big Final Fantasy VIII fan, you're going to pull no matter what, especially if Irvine's kind of your guy. Otherwise, I think this is a good week for people to sit tight. We have anniversaries coming up, JP's very soon, ours in the near future. Who knows what we'll get there? So yeah. All right, guys, that's it. That's the preview video for this week. It's a nice short one. I hope y'all have a great week, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.